Thanks, Jay. All right, I'll call you back. Hello and welcome to the BNz World Report. I am your host, Angela Ray, where we will be discussing global topics and events from around the world. And our first story comes from the News to Know section of BNz.com. Headline, drop that BlackBerry. That's what I had to do at the top of our newscast. Well, if you're like many people from around the world, you may find yourself instant messaging, texting. Also, while you're watching streaming video on the internet, maybe you're word processing, but that is not a good thing. And according to this first study from the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, multitasking may not be good because according to the findings of this study, people who do a lot of heavy multitasking often do not do well on tests where they have to switch from subject to subject. They are easily distracted. So if you know that applies to you, you might want to drop that BlackBerry. And I think I'm going to get rid of mine right now. All right, our second story comes from WRAL.com. The Raleigh Convention Center is in the red after the first year. The $220 million Raleigh Convention Center, which has just completed its first year of operation, has ended this year in about $1 million in debt. Now, according to the financial figures through the end of the fiscal year, expenses for the center from this past year were about $5.17 million, while the center only brought in about $4.21 million in revenue, according to officials at the convention center. Now, marketing and sales spokesperson for the convention center, Lori Okun, said, and I quote, "The facility was not designed to make a profit. The facility was built to put heads in beds," and we've delivered on that. Now, I don't know how the taxpayers in Raleigh as well as Wake County feel about that, but that is according to Miss Lori Okun. Our next story, also from the News to Know section of brandnews.com. A new bill would give the president emergency control of the internet. Now, you all may have heard about this story a little bit earlier in the spring. There was a bill that came through the U.S. Senate that had internet companies and civil liberties groups up in arms because it would give temporary control of the internet to the President of the United States. And the bill has since been revised. The new version would allow, and I quote, "the president to declare a cybersecurity emergency, and any non-governmental computers would be disconnected from the internet." Now, while this language about a bill concerning the internet might be new, the president having this type of authority isn't. According to reports, the president of the United States has always had the constitutional authority and duty to protect the American people. And I guess that includes disconnecting everyone from the internet in a cyber emergency, that would be included. Our next story, keeping with the theme of our president, from Reuters.com, Obama to address Congress as the health care debate grows. President Barack Obama is going to have to fire up his fight and is expected this week, September the 9th, to address both parties in Congress. He will make a speech to the joint session of the United States Senate as well as the House of Representatives. The address comes as falling poll numbers and rising opposition to his reform plans have prodded the president to develop a new strategy and striking a deal on his plans. And I'm sure that we will continue to hear more about the health care reform bill. Our next story is coming to us from the News to Know section of brandnews.com. Now, many of you might know someone who may have food allergies, whether it's an allergy to peanut butter, to milk, or to something even a little bit more rare. Many people have to deal with food allergies, and some people struggle to find out exactly what they're allergic to. Well, a new study is suggesting that it might be quite simple. The H. pylori bacteria. How many of you have heard of that? Have you heard of that one, Jay? No, I hadn't heard of that one either, but apparently it's a very common bacteria, one that is found in almost every human being on the planet, in every organ and in every bodily fluid, along with being in many animals. And it's this increase in this bacteria that may be linked to an increase in a lot of serious as well as not so serious food allergies. So if you want to know more about this story, if you know someone who might think they've been breaking out, they haven't been feeling well after eating, definitely check out the News to Know section of brandnews.com, because before you get stuck with 80 shots, it might be good just to know you have an increase in something that was there all the time. And that is it for this week's BNz World Report. For more news that you can use 24 hours a day, please remember to visit the website at brandnews.com. Make it a great week. See, you know I'm gonna have to stop multitasking, right? You heard my BlackBerry going off while I'm trying to do the newscast. Doesn't even make any sense.